Discover your inner goddess and live up to your highest value and most abundant potential. Welcome to Grateful Goddesses, a podcast that empowers you to unleash your inner goddess and take the leap of faith to live your best life. Your guide, Karen Pulver, joins her fellow goddesses in soulful conversations about gratitude, personal growth, authentic living, and a bevy of topics affecting women today. Let's start the show with your host, Karen Pulver.
Thank you all for joining us today on Grateful Goddesses, and I hope you're smiling today. It feels like just a hopeful week, a happy week, and it just feels a little more hopeful this time for some reason with 2021 and lots of just, a vaccine and people are just feeling a little bit lighter, trying to set goals perhaps, or trying out new things for this year. A smile is really important, not only to help you feel good and look good on the outside, but to really help you feel inside happy. There's been studies that have shown that even if you just smile, how it can really affect your mood and how you present yourself to the world and how others see you. And our guest today is an expert in the field of smiling, not only the aesthetics of smiling, but she's also gone into work with coaching, which helps people to understand the mechanisms for why they act certain ways or how they approach their lives, and hopefully to bring a smile not only aesthetically to their face, but also inside and how they feel emotionally. Dr. Lina Duseviciute was born in Lithuania, a small Eastern European country. She graduated from LSMU in 2015 and has been working in the field of prosthodontics since. From the very start, she has been working in the biggest clinics in Lithuania with excellent teams of colleagues with highly specialized fields of dentistry. She has been deepening her knowledge in different courses and conferences on prosthodontic work, excitingly, and applying it in her everyday practice. Also, she was lucky to have always had really skilled mentors guiding her. One of many of her passions, including health, various sports, and spending time in nature, always was art. Working as a dentist, she found herself a niche to create as well. She was creating smiles for people. Working in the area of prosthodontics merged her wish to calculate, create in artistic and mechanic aspects, also keeping balance with nature. After some time, Lina felt that she needed to understand the bigger picture of everything that is happening with people. She wanted to profoundly understand the patterns and systems in which people are behaving, why that is, and how to work according to these currents, and most importantly, to clarify why are we all doing what we are doing? What is the purpose of all of this? So she got trained as a coach. In the year 2017, she got her ICF coach certificate at BKC. Also did a lot of training based on Roger Hamilton's system at Genius University. She always felt the need for constant growth and evolution, so investing in education and dentistry to constantly improve as a specialist in her field and in personal growth to help her live purposefully and at the same time in service to others became her priorities. Education, never-ending transformation, evolution, human connection, and unity are the most important aspects of her life. Welcome to Grateful Goddesses, Lina. Hi, Lina. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Karen. It's such an honor that you invited me, and I'm very pleased and very happy to be here with you. So that super difficult name is Duseviciute, but you did a great job.
I tried. Thank you so much. You have a beautiful smile, and I wanted to know, did you always want to be a prosthodontist since you were young? Was that something that you felt really passionate about growing up?
Well, first of all, thank you for your compliment, and you have an amazing smile as well.
Thank you.
But I always consider that smile, which you can see from person's eyes, the first one, and the teeth come second, even though I'm a dentist. And the thing that you asked about always wanting to be a prosthodontist, no. I decided that I want to become a dentist only when I was in my senior year. So that whole time I was in constant choosing, maybe doubts, maybe searching. I was really into arts. So I did consider very strongly becoming an architect. And well, now I sort of see how architecture and being a prosthodontist, they have this common thread. So it's a bit of architecture of teeth. So, but I haven't known since childhood that I want to be a dentist. I simply grew up knowing that I can be anyone, anything. I mean, I can become anyone I want. I mean, I can do basically anything. I can learn anything. And in having this approach, it was difficult for me to choose.
But it's so interesting how you're saying that architecture, I didn't think of that, and prosthodontics, because you're helping people to construct a smile in quite an architectural way. Exactly. For those of us who are not familiar with the dental world, can you share with us more specifically what a prosthodontist does?
Sure. A prosthodontist is the doctor who delivers a smile when case is a bit more severe, when only fillings are not enough. So all the smile reconstructions that we do requires a lab. That means certain parts of teeth or missing teeth need to be replaced by restorations produced in a laboratory. And mostly I'm the first and the last doctor that a patient sees, meaning when a patient comes wanting a smile, a new smile, healthy smile, attractive smile, I am the one who sets the whole plan, and we decide upon the end goal, what are the expectations of the patient and the medical conditions and what we can do. And then we simply lay all the steps in front of us, and then patient goes and sees my colleagues, the orthodontist, if he or she needs teeth straightening, or endodontist, or surgeon, or any specialist which is required. And then at the end, when all of them have set the foundation, I step in, and then we finish with the prosthesis. Actually, prosthesis sounds really bad, but it's not always the case when you have your teeth in a glass of water. It's everything what was produced in a lab and then transferred into patient's mouth.
You must see a total transformation in your patients. Can you explain a little bit about that? Like, not just physically, obviously, but overall psyche of the patient coming in with a smile that's perhaps not healthy and needs a lot of work, and then after, when they leave with a beautiful smile. What can you tell us about that transformation?
This is probably the most satisfying part of my work, because people, they really they get really excited. They're usually very grateful, and I sort of see how much more possibilities open up for them, because I do get patients. For example, just this week, I had a patient which told me that she gave up singing career because she was so she felt so bad about her smile, which actually isn't that bad, but she simply felt that bad about it, that she didn't even allow herself to proceed on this pathway. Maybe she would have. Okay, I won't go that deep. How her life would be and which was better or worse scenario, but basically, when people don't feel good about themselves, they limit themselves, and that's a pity. And if me, by any measures, I'm able to open up more pathways for them, I'm more than happy.
And now you're in the coaching arena as well. Can you tell us when that shift happened for you and why you decided to also embrace that part of, your learning and discovery?
Of course. Well, just after I graduated, I took my work, my job super seriously. I loved what I do. What I did, and I worked and worked and worked, and doesn't matter what load of work was given to me, I would always say yes, of course, yes, of course, and I simply burned myself out. And now I already know that there's two ways how a person can develop or grow. It's either through suffering or through insight and conscious choice. So back then I simply needed that harsh experience to expand, to evolve. So now I'm really grateful for that experience. And while I was in that burnout, I said that I won't ever do any dentistry ever again. I will do anything I can to avoid being a dentist, because I started hating my job. I started hating being a dentist. And then somehow, I don't know why, I decided to go and learn coaching. And that really opened a whole new world for me. And somehow, then very naturally, one courses after another, one school after the other followed. And that's where I'm right now. I've been working for sixth year right now as a dentist. So when I was finishing my third year as a dentist, I experienced that burnt out. And now it's 3 years since I'm a coach. So it's not very long. My career is rather humble.
But you've tied in coaching now to the dental world, and you speak to the dental world because you have knowledge in both areas, which I find so fascinating. And I'd like to bring on our featured goddesses. We have more to dive into with you.
Absolutely. I absolutely adored hearing your story, and just for someone seeming so young, I wonder we've discovered over the many different episodes that we've done how important a mentor can be. And I wonder for yourself, who was that mentor for you? And did you have a mentor, or was there someone that you looked up to that helped you kind of guide your career around?
I love this question. Actually, I would say I had a few. And first one is simply a lucky coincidence, I would say, because that was a patient of mine. And there are some procedures when I'm able to ask some questions and get to know my patients better. So that's what I did then. And that amazing woman that was my patient, I figured out that she was actually a relative of my really good friend. And actually that friend of mine, she is a dentist by herself, and her mother is a dentist, her father is a dental technician, so their whole family, they are dentists. So that woman came to me that was illogical, because she used to go to their family and always get her teeth fixed over there, but somehow she just felt like it. And she had just came back from Bali, living there for 2 years. She herself had huge life transformations, and actually right now she is working as a coach, and she also was working with the same schools as I think I will introduce you a bit later, but we simply got talking and we became friends right now. We are friends right now, and she opened up a lot of things for me. And there was another woman, lecturer, teacher. I feel such deep admiration and respect for him. I mean, if I can say that woman who came to be my patient and then my mentor, she's a friend of mine, I couldn't say that my first coaching lecturer is a friend of mine. He's, I don't know, he's so much more, he's so much wider, yeah. So these people were probably the first ones to come into my life. And it wasn't that I was searching for them, but they simply came in.
Thank you for sharing that. And we're going to talk now about the actual coaching work that you do. Dina has some questions about that.
Hi. I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit more, or actually start again. Could you please share with us about the lighthouse and the personality types, and how this framework fits into you helping others in the dental world and outside of it?
Of course. In coaching, actually in life, you have always the same things expressed or told in different ways. So the more I come to learn, I understand that it's always about the same, there's always the same axis. There's always one strongest core that is always repeating itself through different schools, philosophies, or even religions. And the one that I really like is by Roger James Hamilton. Probably I will share a screen because I would really like to show you for a few schemes. Can I do that? The school that I really like, it's the teaching by Roger James Hamilton. And the core of this philosophy, it goes really way back to ancient China. And actually not all, but bigger part of psychometric tests, they stem from Carl Jung. And Carl Jung took the idea from the China, the I Ching. There was such texts, and they talk about wood, steel, metal, fire, water, all those elements, and how we resemble or are similar to those elements, and we each have certain amount of them. And so the roots go really, really way back And that's not something what Roger came up with by himself, but he really did a great job by translating it to our nowadays world. And it's really widely used in coaching entrepreneurs. So, but in any case, it works everywhere. That's actually the one thing that that I really believe, that there's only one you, there's only one person, and it doesn't matter whether I would call myself a coach or a dentist, let's say, or I'm a daughter or a wife or whatever. There's only one me, and doesn't matter what I do it in my way, and I take myself everywhere I go. So this getting to know myself, these schemes, these charts, they serve for the person everywhere in their life. It does. You cannot separate business from your personal life. If you know yourself in business, and that's useful, you become a better or more advanced version or more conscious version of yourself everywhere in life. So yeah, there's no borders for evolution of the personality. Okay, so back to the Rogers system. Basically, there are 4 basic elements, and we each have some part of them. There are tests to see how much of anything you have, and those 4 elements, you can compare them with, for example, times of the year. The green one would be the spring, the red one would be the summer, the yellow the autumn, and the gray one would be the winter. Or Roger has its own names. That's dynamo, blaze, tempo, and steel energies. And you don't have to test each and every person to find out where he or her is, because when you know the qualities of them, you can simply sense to which to where it's a bit more located, or to and actually it's not only people who can be defined by these tests. You can also define a country or a business, because it's not only, well, when we are talking about the business, it's always evolving. So that means business shouldn't stay in one, for example, in spring, because the spring, the green one, the dynamo, it's the startup. It's someone, if that would be a person, that's someone who would be called really up in the head. It's all about the idea. It's all about the innovation. It's all about fresh new air. And Blaze energy is more about the communication, getting out to the world. And if we would take a business, that would be a startup, really good, great new idea. And what do you do then? You go out and you spread the word. So people in the Blaze energy, they're just like that. They're the people. They really like connecting with people. They really like chatting with them. They're really, if they're in the office, they really like to be upfront. They're great with sales. You get the picture. And then we go to the tempo energy. That would be the autumn. And if we're thinking about the business, that's the time when the business gets mature, a bit more mature. That means you had the great idea, you spread the word, everyone is already aware of you. What do you do next? Then you get to know your clients. That means you need to create the student packages, the senior packages, or you simply need to know your client, what your client wants, and how many segments of them you have. And when we're thinking about the people, the person really with emphasized tempo energy would be someone who's really, it is said, they have their ear to the ground. That means they're extremely sensory. They're very good in service area. They're very keen to details. For example, when someone in Dynamo, they can oversee the details. Details really exhaust them. But in the tempo, they really love each and every detail. But at the same time, the sensory environment, the sensors, everything what you sense around is really, really important to them. And now I won't tell the name, but there was this really famous and rich person, when they asked how is he aware it's time to sell shares, he said, whenever I get a twinge in my back. That's how sensory they are. Not charts and tables. They simply get the feeling. And if a person is really into relying on their gut feeling, they're on the tempo side. And then we have the steel energy. If we are thinking about a business going through this phase, that would be the time when business gets automated. All the processes are getting automated because you already had the idea, you spread the word, you segmented your audience, your clients. How else can you improve the revenue or improve your business? It's only by improving the processes. And that's what the steel energy is about. It's about the how. How can you make everything more efficient? And when we're thinking about the people, these are the people who love to do charts, analysis. They love the data, and they would really hate being upfront and doing the sales. Don't disturb me. I'm doing my data analysis. That would be someone in profound steel energy. And of course, we each have a mix of all of these energies, and it makes really interesting end result in any case. And the idea of this is that you don't try to work on those areas where it's difficult for you. You simply look at the things that you're naturally good at and focus on that, because that's your strength. That's the stronger side of you. Because, well, I don't know how is it in where you are, but in Lithuania, if a kid is really skilled at, let's say, music, but really bad at math, parents would really tend to hire a math tutor, not a music tutor, because you are already good at music, but you're bad at math, so you need to focus on math. But no, actually you need to focus on music, because that's something what you are already good at. And also this scheme is really useful in business, because when you're thinking about the team that you're working with, you really always get along the best with people who are similar to you. And that's a common pit hole, because someone with dynamo energy would really go well along with someone else in dynamo energy, because they have so much to talk about, all about the new ideas, all about the innovation, and they're super excited, and we need to do that, and there's no one actually doing the job. There's no one actually analyzing things. And I really like saying that it's like driving in a car. You need all mirrors, and the more mirrors you have, the more of the surroundings you can see and the more aware you can be. That means when in a team, you really need that all of the spheres, all of the segments would be covered. So that's the short explanation about the types. And then there's also the lighthouse. And I'm really visual. That's why I love this scheme, because that square is actually located at the bottom of this lighthouse. And over here you see 4 energies, but there's also a 5th one, which is called the spirit. And each of the energies, they have a question, and the spirit has the question why. So that question why, the spirit is driving a person up. And the levels of the lighthouse. Well, basics are that you cannot jump. You always have to go step by step, level by level. And what you see, there are 2 columns. And the left column is a bit more to get to that column, you need more inspiration, more getting loose. You need more imagination. To get to the right column, you need discipline and structure. And you always go step by step. And you make that pivot point. Because, for example, from the 1st to the 2nd level, you need discipline. That would be, for example, at the base, that infrared, it's called victim. That would be someone who, in a sense of wealth, they're spending more than they are earning. They're always in debt. That means a person simply needs to put himself or herself together and be able to go to job and simply sit there from 8 till 5 or 9 till 5, whatever the hours, but that's what he or she needs to do. That's the discipline. But after he or she did that, if they apply this strategy of more discipline, that doesn't drive them forward. That's simply more and more discipline. But that's the end of the streak. After that, a person needs to ask him or herself, what do I like to do? What's my passion? When that answer comes, then the person goes to the next level. When the person is doing something what they're passionate about, they're no longer counting the hours. So they're working even more. And that's the place where they start to earn more than they are spending. And so after that, there's the yellow level. That's someone who already has a good reputation, because after finding out their passion, they managed to filter out one specific sphere where they're super good at, and in time, they built their reputation. And after that, we have the green yellow level. That's someone who already, in a sense of business, they have a team which they're growing. To have a team and to grow them, you really need to loosen the grip. You really need to learn to trust people. So you cannot do that when you're constantly in control. After the green one, we have the blue one. This is someone who has multiple businesses. They have multiple teams. To do that, you really, again, need a lot of discipline, control, and gathering all the data and everything, right? And after that, you have the indigo trustee. This is someone like Richard Branson. This is someone who says something and the whole world trusts them because that's the person who said it. After that, we have the violet, the composer. That would be someone who are responsible for shaping the mindset of the masses. Someone in politics, for example. And then the ultraviolet, the legend, that would be like Mother Teresa or Nelson Mandela. People can be dead for a long time, but they made such an impact that it stays. So I know that it's a lot, but after going step by step, you can notice one thing. It's not about the career. It's not about the money. It's about how, when a person evolves, his or her focus shifts from me to others. And the more people the person is able to impact, but not just impact. For example, from the green level, the person is growing people around them. They are starting to take care of others, to help them. And the more people that the person impacts, the higher the level, the higher the spirit. So sorry if that was too much.
No, not at all. I found that fascinating. And I know I've gone over this with you before, and I'm so grateful that we can share this with the viewers and listeners and the featured goddesses, because I find it really fascinating. I mean, now that you're reviewing it again, I just took some notes. I have some questions. I think that I think people have difficulty in some of those jumps or some of those levels. One I thought about, not me personally, I'm just thinking of other organizations, of the trusting people. If you personally have your own business or something that you're passionate about, and then you're sending it out to your group or your team, sometimes you don't always feel that they would share in the same passion as you. It's not their business. It's not their idea. So I thought that might be challenging for a person to kind of let go of and surrender to. And the other one I felt that might be challenging would be from discipline to passion. I find even on Grateful Goddesses that people can sit down and do the work, and they can, structure their day, but it's finding that passion that might be difficult to do. So I was curious about those two. How about you guys? What did you all think about that? And do you have any questions to the Lighthouse?
I was going to actually talk about the other diagram, which I found interesting because I've started working with this woman who's an Akashic reader and a life coach. So she does this reading on you, and then you kind of apply it to your life. And she recently told me, because I feel that I am in this ideation stage, that I have all these ideas and yet I can't follow through on anything. And I have pages and pages. And she's like, then you need to surround yourself with doers. She's like, you're not a doer. Like, you're an idea person. Like, it's fine that that's who you are. So like, focus on your idea and help see it through, but find people around you to get it done. And it like blew my mind. And this is exactly what you're saying as well, is that if there's something you're good at, like, you don't need to self-flagellate because you're bad at other things. Like, embrace what you're good at. Is that a correct interpretation?
It's always a challenge when we need to change our strategy, because our brain always like things that are familiar. And if I was super strict and disciplined and got somewhere in life, then I feel safe when I do things in this manner. And that's it. But that's the trick. Constant transformation. And transformation, it's, like the phoenix, the bird. It needs to burn to the ashes to arise once more. So do you think that bird enjoys being in flames? That's super uncomfortable,
right.
Probably.
Right. So it's about getting a little bit, well, we talk about that too on the show, about stepping out of your box and just saying yes to things and going with your gut, your intuition, and trying things. And that kind of will help you to figure out what your passion is. Yeah.
Well, first step is always getting aware and conscious about things that I'm not sure if that can be true for everyone, but for me, I know that whenever I feel stuck, that means that I'm using the old strategy. And probably the relief is totally different, 180 degree angle. And I simply need to, if I'm working too hard, then probably I simply need to let go.
Right.
If I'm doing something, if I feel that something is out of bounds, maybe I simply need to get more structure. And
that makes that I can relate to that. I know that sometimes I feel like I'm being pulled off the path. And if I just kind of either meditate or just kind of stop, I feel like I'm back on. Yeah, thank you. And then for Rachel, what are your thoughts on her question?
Oh, she asked about...
She has a lot of ideas. And actually, it's interesting, Rachel, you said that because you've mentioned to me that you felt that I'm a doer. So I hope it's rubbing off on you.
You're both, Karen, though. You're both. You're the idea and you're the doer.
But I haven't always been the doer. I like Lina, we've talked about that I've learned so much on this journey, and I'm really trying of incorporating a lot of these, as we all are on the show, trying to incorporate what we've learned into our life and see if it works for us. But you are too, Rachel. You're doing that as well. But I know what you're saying. She has tons and tons of ideas, but it's just kind of taking that next step of how to implement.
Yeah, that's always the case, that people that we surround ourselves with, they can be huge support and help. And you see, there's three actually dimensions in that lighthouse, because the bottom of the lighthouse is that square. That means that you do have let's say more profound dynamo energy, and that would help you immensely to have people on the other sides, even though probably you wouldn't go as good along with them as you would with other dynamos, others who have those great ideas. But then at the same time, going up that lighthouse, I hate actually that discipline part as well. But sometimes we do have to just do things.
It's true.
What I love about what you're saying is that in some ways, there's this, there's the saying, first step to solving your problem is recognizing that you have one, right? And figuring out what that problem is, and then taking the step to sort of solve it. I think that may be an AA thing, or I don't even know what that's from. But anyway, the part that feels somewhat liberating is that, especially as we get older, we get a little bit more set in our ways. We get a little bit more comfortable with what our wheelhouse looks like, right? And we know sort of what we can do effectively and what our challenges are. But the difficulty is that I think the older you get, the less likely you might be to employ the discipline to operate in a sphere that's outside of your comfort zone, right? You just get more kind of set in your ways. So, taking Rachel's example one step further, she's the idea person, and she recognizes that she's the idea person. But there's this battle between, okay, fine, I recognize it. I can either sort of like try to get to the opposite side, from the dynamo to the other side, and or I can try to just surround myself with people like Karen, who's more the doer. So there's this battle between where is it necessary. I know this is somewhat more sort of theoretical, but at what point do you say, like, okay, it's just not my strength. Let me find somebody whose strength it is, whether you're talking about the business world or your personal development. Or do you really say, I'm not too old to learn new things and to sort of break out of this comfort zone. I'm just going to work to try to do it myself. So I'm curious, that was a very long question, but how do you counsel your clients when, faced with that battle, so to speak?
Mm-hmm. Okay. The thing about coaching, what is coaching? Well, the way, the method that I was taught and that I apply nowadays is, I don't have the recipe for happy life for anyone. I mean, I don't prescribe those recipes. The responsibility for the outcome is mainly in the client's hands. It has been already discovered that 60% of the outcome is dependent on the client's motivation. If you have the unmotivated client, the outcome will be miserable. And the main responsibility for the coach is to hold the space, to hold nurturing space for that client to do his or hers job, his or hers inner process. We can apply the methods, and this is one of the methods, one method that I showed, but the strength of the method is around 10%. So it's not that powerful, even though it is a chart, even though that's, a diagram, but it's not that powerful. And the person gets motivated to do things when it's uncomfortable enough for her or him to do something. I mean, it really needs to burn where it really needs to be uncomfortable where a person is in order that the person would change. Well, most of the time. And that's really, for me, I see this as maybe one of the life laws, or we always want things to happen faster. But if you're boiling an egg, it doesn't matter how much do you want that egg to boil faster. I mean, it boils, 7 minutes, let's say, right? And that's it. You need to wait. If you do surgery on a patient, there's like at least 2 months, let's say 2 months, that the implant should heal. And that's it. And patient, they want their teeth faster, but you need to wait. You want to have the child, but there's 9 months that you need to be pregnant. It's uncomfortable. You want the child now, but you have to be pregnant. So it's probably also the thing that if there's still, it's not there yet. It's not there yet. So it's gestating, right?
I have a question, actually. So when you first start with a client, what is that process like? Like, do they start off with doing the quizzes, or like, what is the analysis? Like, how do you break it down? How do you know where you can coach them, or what are they normally coming to you for? Like, how does that even start?
It really depends on the client. It really depends on, how I always do. It always needs to be a contract. That means that an agreement needs to be reached. What do you want from me? What do you want to be achieved? Why did you came here, right? And then when there's an agreement, we are searching for ways to fulfill that. When talking about this system, there's not many clients that felt the need to do the test. There are some, but it's just that's not the magic pill. But if it's interesting, and I think that it's interesting, you can always do that. It simply helps you to know yourself better. But I think that intuitively we can all detect ourselves. It's just that we sometimes need the confirmation from outside. And So you can do the test. That's not a problem, but that's not the solution as well. So when a client comes, we first of all need to make a contract, an agreement. Why did he or her come to me? And what do we want to be achieved? And how we will understand that we achieved that. Because, I want to feel better. Okay, so when will you understand that you are feeling better? And how your surroundings will understand also that you are feeling better. So that it would be really, that's difference between coaching and psychotherapy, because coaching is actually for those people who don't like to wait a long time and they want the results now and they want to be able to detect the results. So yeah, so then we decide upon the terms and we simply go along. There's always homework and things to be done because everything is done in the way of doing.
So if you to piggyback off of that question that Camille asked, and going back to the trust aspect, if you're in, for example, let's just go back to the dental practice. If you're in a dental practice and you are the main dentist, and then you have a staff, but you're the one doing, you're going and let's say doing the surgery or doing the work, but you have to trust your staff. You have to trust your front staff to make sure they're calling and getting patients. You have to trust your hygienist or your assistants, but it's your vision, it's your practice. So they may not have this, they may just come because, to get paid, to have a salary, or they might come to work there because they do enjoy the work, but it's still not their office. And that can go for a lot of different businesses. People are in jobs for various reasons, and they might be quite passionate about what they're doing and supportive of the dream and the mission of the CEO. But how does that CEO or that dentist trust their staff?
That's a great question. In the Lighthouse, when we're thinking about a company, there will never be a huge distance between members of the company. Let's say the owner will never be on the violet level and everyone in their staff or team on the red level. That won't happen. These are intertwined. And if the owner is on the yellow level, then all of their team members are on, let's say, orange and red level. And it's the cause and the effect both ways. If the owner wants to go up, he needs to make sure that either he will gather new people who are on higher levels, or he needs to nurture and grow them to step up and get in that higher level. So if now the person is in the yellow level and super busy and no one in their team cares, and so if no one cares, that means that people are in the red level. Well, not no one, but if someone doesn't care, that means that the person is on the red level. That means that I come in and from hour A till the hour B, I'm doing the job. As soon as I close the door, I no longer care about the work at all. That's the red level, sorry, the red level. And this is the person that will always drag the company down.
And that goes for, sorry for interrupting, but that seems to go also for your life. If you surround yourself with like-minded, positive people that are on your same path, if you have draining people that always bring you down, or it sounds so simple too, like, doesn't it, guys? Like if you're in an office, I mean, of course you should have people in there that want to be there. Lina, if people would like to reach out to you for coaching, how can they do that?
They can find me on Facebook, but because I I haven't even managed to set up a decent page to put myself out as a coach, but people kept coming in and more of them. So I simply understand that I need to put more structure over here.
There you go. You can take your own advice, right? So how can people find you on Facebook?
Simply Lina Duseviciute, my name and surname, and you can just write me and add me to friends. And also for anyone who's a doctor, I am a part of a great community that's called Doctor, and I'm the administrator of that community. It's more for dentists, but actually all doctors are welcome there. So
thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you sharing your understanding of the patterns and systems that people are behaving and why it's so important to clarify and to know exactly where we are and what we need in our lives. So we appreciate, and next time we go to the dentist or the prosthodontist, we will definitely understand more about how it is. It's not just the mechanics, but it's also the smile of how you feel and how you can take that forward in your life. So thank you so much for coming today and joining us on Grateful Goddesses.
Up next, favorite things. Opening up to happiness and joy.
Welcome everyone to our favorite things portion, and we are going to be sharing what brings us happiness and joy. I have one of mine right beside me. I use it often on phone calls as well as with my preschool kids. It's called an emergency affirmation. And I sometimes even just use it for myself if I'm feeling down, honest to God, because it's very cute. You are awesome. And it makes me feel happy. And of course, it has a smiling face, which is great for today's show. Camille, what did you bring along?
My shirt is my favorite thing. It's my best friend, Call Her Six. He's a drag queen, and he just came out with a new song that's out today called Tuck It, and it's really funny. So I've just been having fun. That's my favorite thing.
I love that. What's his name?
They call her Six on Instagram. Could be, but Six. His real name's Jeremy Austin. So
that's beautiful. I love the smile on the shirt for sure. Yes, very sexy smile.
Will you send us the link of that song? Sure. Will you just share it?
For sure. Dina, what did you bring along today?
I brought along a book. It's called We Were Liars. And the reason I chose this is because my daughter read it and passed it along to me and begged me to read it. So one, I'm just thrilled she's reading something that she loves, and two, that she wants me to read it so she has somebody to discuss it with. She can't wait. And so every day, what page are you on? If you get to this page, and you're going to be done in a day because it's so good at this point. And so it's been fun and bonding. And
is it a good book? You love it?
Yeah, it's really yeah. It's a young read, but it's great.
That's so nice. That's so nice to share that bond for sure. Alyssa, how about you?
Okay, so I'm always looking for products that like get you through winter, like for your skin and hair and stuff like that. So I brought two today. This is the worst packaging and name, but someone gave this to me as a holiday gift, and then years ago, and I loved it so much that she got it for me again. And it is a hand cream, and it's called No Crack. And I just laughed at the name. And it's just like an Amazon product, but it's truly the only thing you use it at night because it's really, really thick, and is really the only thing that like saves my very dry hands. And it doesn't have a lot of ingredients in it. There's probably 6, but it is seriously potent, good hand cream. And then my second thing is because I feel like you get very pale and in this type of weather. It's dead of winter here right now, and I love my wipes. You guys know that. So this is like a M61, also Blue Mercury, available on, I'm sure, their website and Amazon. And it's like an exfoliating but tanning pad, and they're really nice because you just do it, toss it in the garbage.
Sorry, Alyssa, it went out. Can you repeat what it's called?
It's called the M61 Power Glow Peel Gradual Tan. And it's exfoliating, and it has salicylic acid and vitamin K and chamomile, and Camille can tell us if it's a good product or not, but I like it because
it's similar to the other ones that you showed us, but this one has a self tanner in it, I guess.
This one has a self tanner and it's exfoliating it. So it's like one step. And I love them because you just, toss it and, no muss, no fuss.
And you're glowing. I love the other ones.
Not at the moment. I actually haven't used them in quite a bit, but I did use one the other day, and marked that I had some glow and some color. So
great. And thank you for sharing. Rachel?
All of us did that. I am sharing a piece of clothing as well. And it's this tie-dye sweater. It's cotton. It's got like frayed sleeves. And I was in a kind of a business coaching group with a group of women, and one of the women started, it's like Stitch Fix, where you can get like a box of clothes, but you can also just order from her website, and it's called Game Set. But it's really like kind of sporty clothes. So I like super funky yoga pants. I love crazy designs on them, and I buy them from her. And I'm so happy to support another woman-owned business.
And it's so colorful. I noticed right away. It made me smile for sure. Lina, what did you bring today to share with us?
I just realized that I did bring. I brought a book. It's in Lithuanian, and it's called The Guide to NLP. Probably that would be the accurate translation, because as I said, I think that there's always that one common thing, and NLP is something was hugely intertwined with self-development, even meditation. And I also brought an approach, the approach to always see the advantage. I just love this card, so I bought it. Can you read?
If life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Of course.
So simply always seeing advantage in every situation, right?
Yeah.
Because we know our position.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Those were all wonderful things that you all shared. Wonderful rituals, cards, books, clothing, products, and t-shirts and everything. So thank you for sharing. And remember, you are awesome. Enjoy your day, everybody, or your evening.
Unleashed your inner goddess yet? Thanks for joining us today on Grateful Goddesses. We invite you to visit our website, www.gratefulgoddesses.com, to access today's show notes as well as other helpful resources. Don't forget to leave a review. Until next time, stay strong and empowered to be a grateful goddess.